Thank you all so much for joining us today. Israel, thank you. We really do greatly appreciate your engagement, your sponsorship for making this happen, as well as a lot of the other things that we do throughout the year. Olivier, I want to thank you too for hosting us in this really great venue. Cookies for breakfast, isn't that great? Yes. My daughter would love that. She loves having breakfast for dinner and cookies for breakfast, so this is really fabulous. So thank you so much for that. And then I also just want to thank, we have on the screens over here too, all of our other sponsors that work with us to make this event happen, but also work with us throughout the year to make so many other things happen. For those of you that I have not met yet, my name is Jack McDougal, and I am the President and CEO of the Greater Washington Board of Trade, and it's really awesome to be here with you all this morning. And what a great remarks from Governor Moore. He just really, I think, hit it and captured a lot of the things that we're focused on and how do we work together. And so that really does set a very nice tone for the things that we have to do and what we want to talk about here today as well. It's interesting. Our region, it's really a vibrant and dynamic place. It's filled with great promise and equally great challenges. And so it's up to us here to anticipate emerging trends, tackle pressing issues, and seize opportunities that will shape the future of our businesses as well as our communities. So we know change and uncertainty are inevitable. And with strategic leadership and collaboration, especially with all of us here in the room, these can become powerful forces for progress. Our approach here at the Board of Trade is holistic. We address immediate needs while keeping our long-term aspirations in focus. And so how are we going to get from where we are today to where it is that we want to be in the future? Our mission is unwavering: to create an economically competitive, globally relevant, innovative, and inclusively prosperous region that serves as a model for excellence. Over the past year, we've come together more than 120 times, which is mind-boggling to me. It's even more mind-boggling to my team. That's almost an event every 2 days. And it takes as much work to do a lunch as it does for one of these meetings. And so I do applaud all the effort that they put into this. So 120 times, so that's policy initiatives, social events, leadership discussions, and all sorts of other engagements. And all of those just lend to strengthening our collective impact. Today at our annual meeting, we're going to reflect on the major issues facing our region, celebrate our achievements, and most importantly, express our gratitude to all of you, our members and our partners. Your commitment and support is what makes our successes possible. I'm proud to share that 2024 has been another extraordinary year for the Board of Trade. And so I thank all of you for that, for being an essential part of the adventure that we're on here together. In a few minutes, Steve Proctor, our current chair, and Jeremy Blank, our incoming chair for next year, will share some key accomplishments from the past year and offer some thoughts on the year ahead. But first, I wanted to mention 3 highlights that I find particularly compelling. So first, looking back at 2023, what was one issue that we were all talking about? Here, just shout it out. Come on. Crime? Yes, crime. Everybody's talking about crime. Crime had spiked in the district as well as in our region. It had been on an increase in 2022 and then into 2023. And so it consumed nearly every conversation that we were involved in. I don't hear a lot about it talked anymore. So there's a lot of really good reasons for that. Not that it's gone away and not that we can't be vigilant. But earlier this year in March, the DC Council passed and Mayor Bowser signed the Secure DC Act. And that was an incredible milestone. And so I really do want to applaud everybody that was involved in that. And so we, the Board of Trade, worked very closely with the Mayor's office, Councilmember Pinto, other council members, MPD Chief Pam Smith, who was phenomenal, her team, along with so many other stakeholders, to ensure that our communities are safe places to live, work, and do business. And now the results speak for themselves. Just a couple of data points here. Wes was talking about the progress that they've been making in Baltimore, and we've been making equal progress here. Violent crime is down 35% this year. Homicides down 30%, robberies 41%, assaults, property crimes, arson, motor vehicle thefts, burglaries, all down. In fact, right now where we are is back to 2021. So we still have work to do, but we've certainly come off of the highs that we were experiencing last year, and that benefits all of us. And so while we at the Board of Trade played an important role in that, there were other factors, including improved police strategies and community engagement efforts that contributed to that success. So what that proves is that what can we accomplish when we all work together? and that's a really good testament to how we can do that. Another highlight for me was relaunching the Potomac Conference to tackle some of our region's most pressing challenges and unlocking some of the vast potential that we have here. You know, as I mentioned, our region is complicated, and while I often hear people talk about the importance of regionalism and collaboration, I also hear people talk about how hard that can be. Well, let me tell you, it's actually not that hard. You just need to do it. And that's exactly what we did. And so some of you will remember that the Board of Trade hosted the Potomac Conference for a number of years, taking a break in 2012. So we wanted to bring it back. And we saw the potential of doing that as a collaborative effort. And so we reimagined this as a public-private alliance. And we invited the Greater Washington Partnership, the Council of Governments, and the Consortium of Universities to join forces and work together towards a set of shared goals. So Kathy Hollinger, Clark Mercer, and Andrew Flagel, I want to thank you for your commitment, your trust, and partnership on this journey, and we are just getting started. I also want to thank Alex Orfinger from the Washington Business Journal, who worked right alongside with us to help ensure making that a reality, and so very much appreciate his efforts as well with that. As a kickoff in July, we convened law enforcement, nonprofits, academic institutions, and business leaders to address crime head-on. This meeting wasn't just an exchange of ideas, it underscored the power of regional collaboration and sparked a much broader commitment to improving public safety. Moving forward, we will focus on economic growth. For example, our region is one of only a very few that doesn't have a federal economic development designation. It's mind-boggling. The Potomac Conference partners are committed to leading a 2-year effort to secure that designation, which will open up new opportunities and help us create a framework for better aligning the economic resources and assets across the region, much of what Governor Moore focused on a little bit earlier. And so we have a program in place that will allow us to take advantage of that. The third highlight I'd like to share is our work on transportation. It's a cornerstone of the Board of Trade's mission since our founding. From drafting DC's original street expansion plan in 1900 to promoting airports, public transit systems, and bridges across the Potomac, we've been at the forefront of enhancing regional mobility for more than a century. Today, our commitment remains just as strong, whether we're advocating for the American Legion Bridge or supporting WMATA and regional transit issue, which is currently a top priority for us. On that note, I do want to recognize and thank Randy Clark and his team for the tremendous strides they've made in building a world-class system. Randy is here along with Valerie Santos, WMATA's new board chair, and key members of his leadership team. Brian Dwyer, he's the guy with the Boston accent, so if you have any confusion about that. Sherry Dickerson, Tom Webster, who's been doing heroes work, working with us at finding some solutions around some of Metro's challenges, and Regina Sullivan. These and others are such dedicated professionals, and they're making a real difference, and I do encourage you to get to know them all and thank them for the work that they're doing. I would be remiss if I didn't note a couple of highlights. 43 consecutive months of ridership growth on Metro. It's the fastest ridership recovery in the country since the pandemic. All-time high customer satisfaction on both rail and bus. 9 straight years of clean audits. Over $500 million in cost reductions across capital and operating budgets. An 82% reduction in fare evasion and a 31% reduction in crime, reaching the lowest level of crime in the system in 5 years. Really amazing accomplishments, and so for that, thank you, and thank you for your team. Now, that doesn't mean we don't have challenges and problems, right? And so we need to work on those. So there's much work to do. And chief among our priorities is to secure a dedicated funding source to ensure the system's long-term viability. And so while there are differing opinions on ridership levels, governance, costs, capital projects, one thing is clear, is that Metro is an essential asset for our region. In May, the Council of Governments in WMATA launched a project called DMV Moves, which is a bold initiative designed to create a unified vision and sustainable funding model for public transit across the whole region. You know, in typical regional form here, we have, 14 different bus transit agencies across our region? So there's definitely some opportunities with that and other assets to be a lot more effective both in how we spend our resources and how we move our people around. I was asked to chair the Community Partners Advisory Group, working alongside Brian Hill, who's also with us here today. And Brian, I thank you for your partnership in this effort. He's the county executive for Fairfax County, and he chairs the Government Partners Advisory Committee. And then Nick Donahue, who was facilitating this whole effort, who wasn't able to join us today, he's down in Richmond. But this is a pretty extraordinary effort. Together, working with Clark from COG and Randy and many others, we've brought diverse stakeholders to the table to address this critical challenge and are starting to make important recommendations. And there'll be a lot more to come on this as we get into next year. I also want to acknowledge Paul Wiedefeld, who's with us here today. Paul, Secretary of Transportation for the state of Maryland. As many of you know, Paul previously served as the general manager for WMATA during a time of significant challenges, though it's hard to think of a time when there aren't significant challenges at WMATA. But Paul made some really difficult decisions at that time, which is enabling Randy and his team to continue to go even further. And so, Paul, I do want to thank you for your service as well. I'll also note, again, and this, you'll discover a kind of an integrating theme here, is that both Kathy Hollinger and Andrew Flagel are on my advisory committee, so we continue to intersect there. We also have members of other business organizations, businesses. We also have transit and environmental activists, as well as labor unions. So it's an interesting mix of perspectives that we have to say, but yet we are generally working well together. And the reason for that is that in this particular case, failure is not an option. We pride ourselves in being the most educated and skilled region in the country. If we can't solve this, no one can. So let's get it done, and we will continue to work on that. So across a broad range of issues, the stakes have never been higher. But the path forward is clear. Collaboration isn't just beneficial, but it's essential. Together, we're reimagining what's possible, creating safer streets, strengthening our economy, improving transportation, and building a more unified and prosperous future for everyone. None of this would be possible without the dedication and engagement of so many of you. To our officers, to our executive committee, our board of directors, committee chairs, initiative partners, and all of you, our members, thank you. Your contributions are the foundation of our success. You help shape not only the future of the Board of Trade, but you also the future of our region. I'm deeply grateful for your unwavering support. I also want to recognize our past chairs for their continued leadership and guidance, many of whom are here with us today. Tony Pierce, Linda Rabbit, Jim Dyke, John Kane, Rosie Allen Herring, and Jermaine Johnson. Your commitment remains invaluable. And now, and perhaps most importantly, a special thanks goes to our chair, Steve Proctor. Steve, your support, guidance, leadership, and friendship has been amazing, not just for me personally, but for the organization. Just look around this room today. More than 70% of our member organizations are represented here today. That's a 10% increase from last year. This growth is part of a broader trend that we've witnessed throughout the year, and it's a direct reflection of the thriving community that your leadership has helped foster. Your dedication has set the stage for continued success, and I look forward to working with you next year and beyond. Steve, thank you for all that you do. Likewise, Jeremy, as we hand over the gavel, you've been a strong partner this past year, so congratulations on assuming the role as chair. Very much looking forward to working with you and continuing to build on our success, and so thank you for your service. Finally, I want to take a moment to express my profound gratitude to our incredible team. They're all over there in the back. They're hardworking, dedicated, and professional in every sense. Planning relies on the expectation of order, but preparation assumes chaos, and we deal with a lot of chaos here. This team is not only prepared for the unexpected, but also adapts with resilience and thrives in the face of challenges. Their efforts ensure that the Board of Trade excels no matter what are the circumstances, and the proof is in the room. To each and every one of you, thank you. As we celebrate this year's successes, I also want to take a moment to honor the extraordinary commitment of some of our longest standing members. This is remarkable. A very special group of organizations have been with us for 75 plus years, and many others for 100 plus years. Plus, 5 original founding members, that's the organizations, not the individuals themselves, have been with us since the founding in 1889. If we could figure out how to make that work, we'll be on to something. But that's Bank of America, Pepco, PNC, Washington Gas, and the Washington Post. Really just remarkable. Your dedication and partnership exemplify the strength and longevity of this organization, and we're profoundly grateful for your contributions to our shared legacy. So now let me turn it over to Steve to take care of some business matters and expand on the remarkable successes that we've achieved together. As we look ahead, we know there will be more challenges, but also countless opportunities. And as we have for 135 years, because of all of you, we stand ready. Thank you.